The next problem, somebody, also known as me, oh, what the hey? What the hey, buddy? Well, this is just odd. This is weird. Well, I don't know if I brought it inside or what. I don't see it inside either. Or if it fell down. Alright. Well, for now I'm just going to use the adjustable wrench here and hopefully I find where I put my 1-inch. Well, this is just plain odd. Alright, so you might be asking yourself, update? Well, yep, here it is. Even though when you watch this, it's probably all gonna kind of go together, you know, because of the camera lady. She don't like being called the camera lady, so I better watch myself. But anyways. So, we're putting a brake chamber on. This bad boy right here was a real sucker to get out. So, this clevis here goes over that. This pin goes through. And then that was all kind of together hard. Pound it back and forth, couldn't get it. So I ended up taking the rear duals off the truck here. And that was quite problematic. I oiled it for days, pounded on it with a sledgehammer. The outside dual, I ended up using some leverage. I jacked it up, put my other floor jack under the tire itself, put pressure on that and smacked it with a hammer. It popped right off. But the inner dual was just, it's a... they center off of the hub itself, so it's hub centric. And even this brake drum's probably going to be horrible to try to get off whenever I get around to doing brakes. But so it centers off of there, they get rusty and problematic getting them off. So hopefully that's not the case with the brake drum when I get around to changing out the shoes. But that's kind of what's going on right now. We're changing out this brake chamber. It's a 30-30 long stroke. You can tell by how it is, but in reality, so I don't know if it's millimeter or what, but this is 30 and this is 30, but on, I believe, 24, so you can get like a 24-30. I don't know if there's other combinations, but so this is a 30-30, and it's a long stroke. The square ports, I guess, give that away from what I've read online. When you get these, the rod was taller. It was probably like this long, so I had to kind of measure what the existing brake chamber was for length to the cutoff, and then I cut it off with the cutoff wheel. Those are all the tools that I've been using. See all the oil on the ground from spraying everything down with penetrating oil. Air hoses dangling there. To get that inner dual off, I actually ended up having to bring the mini excavator in here. And I hooked, yep, so this would have been facing kind of like this, and I ended up hooking a big, like a hook, the hook end of my chain in here, and then the other end to the excavator stick, and I just tugged on it a couple times, and finally it broke loose. But so that's where we're at. We're doing that, and the reason that I'm replacing this brake chamber is because the old one was leaking air quite rapidly. I'm not sure if you can rebuild that or not. I didn't really look into it. I just decided to get a new one, and that'll be kind of something to look at in the future. Some other stuff that we got going on. Well, I don't know. I haven't updated too much on this since I've had it in the shop now, but got the tailgate hung, so that's pretty neat. Got that pin fixed, and I actually went up inside, and the inner hanger on each side was rotted out, so I re-welded it. I cut out this latch, and I'm waiting for a latch to come. There's special order for this box. I probably could have made like a random one work, but it's nice just having the right stuff sometimes so you're not messing around. We got this cut off. In fact, the wing assembly, I actually sold earlier today. A guy came from Alexandria, Minnesota area. I guess he plows, he owns or works for a concrete company or a ready mix company out there, and they actually plow the township roads. So he came and bought the wing to put on one of their trucks. We got the center blade, that center plow blade taken off. We still have those big mounts. I'm not quite sure if I'll cut them off yet or what my plan is. What else? So, something else that I did is, see that nice shiny new brass fitting? That was leaking, so that's new. That was a special order fitting. I also got two new fittings for that and that. They're quick connect, but they're both brass and new because this one, the plastic one, likes to leak sometimes. So I figured better safe than sorry. We'll just put some new ones on. Just fixing that one 45-degree fitting helped a lot as far as air loss. So recently I've just been trying to kind of chase down, air leaks, kind of get some of the easier stuff done. The goal would be to get it to the point where we can get this truck DOT'd and usable, because we'll end up swapping this one with our Peterbilt as far as being in service, and then we'll probably sell our Peterbilt, see what we get for that. But if I sell the Peterbilt, then I'll have more money to put into this truck, because ultimately the goal would be to have 2 pusher axles, so add 2 axles in front of the drives, or at least 1, but I'd like to do 2. So that tank will go away. We'll probably end up getting a different box, but that's if we get to the point where I have the money to kind of outfit it the way that I would like. But I also want to see what this thing weighs without all the added steel, from the side wing and the plow mount and all that good stuff. This fuel tank will have to go. We'll end up getting a smaller one that'll fit just kind of in this area. And that's where we're at right now. Working on the truck again. I got that brake chamber replaced. I also ended up replacing the brake shoes because they were worn down fairly far. The rims and tires on this truck have not been removed recently, so they're quite stuck on. I'm going to take and I'm going to give her a little jerk with the tractor here, since it's sitting in here, and hopefully I can get it to pop off. Last side I just brought the Mini in, but I mean, I could if it comes down to it. I guess I can move everything out of the way. But so in order to get the tractor started, you can kind of see the smoke here, but the problem that I'm having is the glow plugs. They are not currently hooked up to anything. So I'm going to jump in here with this wire and do them for a little bit here, and then it should hopefully fire up. She wants to go. So close. She's angry. It's kind of chilly in here, so. The tractor wasn't quite what we needed, but it might have got loosened up. I sprayed it a couple more times, beat on it. put some pressure on it with the jack from the bottom, but I took this bad boy, put it in here. I'm just gonna have to kind of walk it back and forth. And like that, we're just gonna work it back and forth, and it's gonna come off now. So, you know, still ended up, you know, going in a positive direction. Which, as you may know, is a good thing. So, put that down, whatever. So, the reason that we're taking this one off is because the inner wheel seal on this wheel drum hub is leaking. So we'll pull this off, I'll have to pull the drum off, I'll have to debrake it, and then I'll pull all these nuts off. Good chance that the nut and the bolt, or it's going to come off as one. It shouldn't, but they're probably rusty. I'll pull the axle shaft, and then I'll undo the hub nut and everything that's inside there, pull it off, and then I will have to pound out the seal that's inside of that axle, and then I'll have to install a new one. So that's where we're at with that. Unfortunately, right now we're having a space shortage on our phones to record, so you're not really going to get to see a whole lot. Alright, so I have the wheels off, the drum off. We'll see, I might end up replacing the slack adjuster there because it's the nut on the bottom for adjusting it stripped out, so you have to use a vice grips. But anyways, so I was talking about the wheel seal. And the way that you know that the wheel seal is going out is there's like kind of like an oily, greasy substance on the brake pads, and you can see it starting to like drip down the inner dual, and you can kind of maybe see it right down there on the edge and right there. So that's kind of telltale signs that this was bad. I've had them where they've blown out and covered like the whole frame of the truck and everything. This one must have just started to kind of go. Might just be from sitting. It could have already been bad, but either way, it's something that we're gonna have to replace here. And I'm also noticing that there's a good chance that this wheel speed sensor is looks like the housing is completely corroded away around most of it, so I will probably have to replace that as well. So I'll have to order that, and I won't be able to really put this side back together until I get it. If I want to put it back together, I guess, quote unquote, permanently. So, yep, that's where we're at. So I'm pulling the axle, like the hub off to get to do the hub seal, and then I pulled it out. It was kind of hard to pull out once I got to a certain point, and so there's actually, this goes into the carrier or whatever, but then this was in something else that was up in there, and you can see it. And do I have to pull the whole axle apart to get this back together, or is this a normal deal? You can see that that part dropped lower than like the carrier, so do I just work it back in and work it through and then lift it up and push it into the carrier? Do I have to pull the axle all apart now to get it back together? Alright, a little update on the Western Star. Got the brakes off, I got the wheel off, all that good stuff. Well, so the further I got into it, kind of the worse it got. So there should be something made out of aluminum there, and it's completely rotted away. This sits there, so it's supposed to hold that. That's gone. This is what's left of the wheel seal. It's still on there. I'll have to pound it off or cut it off. We go over to the hub. This is the other chunk of the wheel seal, and that was in here. Well, if we look in here, that's all rust, so it had gotten, you know, salt or whatever kind of got in between the rubber and the sealing portion of this hub and rusted it. So this hub is, you know, junk. I have a new hub on order. It should come with new bearings and a new seal and everything already installed. Hopefully that's true. It'd be pretty cool. But otherwise, so I'm just waiting on parts now again. That's a common occurrence with what we got going on. So right on par for, you know, life. But yeah, we're just waiting on parts, and we'll kind of get it put back together. Updates on the Western Star here that's all torn apart. So that was all rusty and stuff, you remember? Not a good deal. So we got this right here. It's a brand new hub, and it was ouch. And that's an ABS sensor just in case. Figured might as well have one on hand because I am fighting an ABS issue on this truck. But either way, brand new hub. And this is a loaded hub, so it has the bearing, seal, all that good stuff already on it. Looks like it also came with a new bearing spacer. You can see the old one in the tub over there. So that goes in between your bearings when you're putting the truck together. And that makes it so that you don't overload or over tighten your bearings so that they wear out right away. So that's kind of neat. So, no good, very nice. Yes, it's very good. It's awesome. It came faster than what they figured. It was actually sitting on the stoop of the shop this morning when I came out to start my trucks to move some equipment. So, yippee! Alright, little update. I mean, I guess that you won't see it as an update because it's YouTube, but I got the new hub put on. That's filled it with oil. Have the new ABS sensor mount put on there. New brakes. So this one's about ready to go back together. Now when I did pull this apart, the locker fell out of place. I ended up taking a broom handle, putting it in there, lifting it up, setting a hammer on the broom handle to keep pressure on it. Hitting the locker, it sucked it back up into place. I was able to get the axle shaft in, so that's pretty neat. It's coming along, looking good, looking good.